neighbourhood plan needs to be cancelled, and that also cancels out item number 9 on the agenda. Westgate neighbourhood plan update. Oh, I forgot the housekeeping. Take the door on your left there behind you, Councillor Collins, if there's a fire. Any declarations of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? No, I just wanted to point out on one of the planning applications, the estate agent has put in an objection, and their name is the same as mine, but it's absolutely nothing to do with me. Okay. Are we agreed on the minutes for the last meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Who'd like to propose me?
Oh yes, sorry.
Rebecca.
Thank you. I will propose it. All in favour?
Thank you.
There are no chairperson's announcements, as Councillor Scott isn't here. There's nobody to make comments in the public participation session. No. Premises licence application for Thanet District Council. Councillor, do you have any comments to make on this?
Well, I think we should record the fact that they've responded to our request last time for more information about the opening and closing times and the activities that they are going to be proposing at the site. I think they've given us quite a bit of detail into that. Good. It looks like they're including now as part of their proposal film nights. But I'm guessing, having looked through the licensing documents, that may have actually suggested and given them the idea to visit it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But there is a lot of onus on the site owner through the licensing documentation to uphold the items listed below: the prevention of crime, disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, protection of children from harm. And there is a lot incumbent on them to fulfil every aspect of each of those items.
Yeah, that's standard, isn't it?
And I think from that point of view, some of the issues that we were concerned about are addressed. So I think possibly the only real concern might be any nuisance to immediate neighbours given the proximity in terms of some of the longer opening hours. But I think, to be fair, most of these are fairly standard these days and come as part of the package.
Councillor Warren, have you got any comments on it?
They are late hours they're looking for, and some of the people who live there aren't very happy about it, but that isn't necessarily the reason they can't get it. So it does seem very long hours.
Yes, no, I agree. Thank you, Councillor Page. Sorry, I didn't say that.
They can't really be stopped on that basis, though, unless it does cause a nuisance, etc.
Well, that is one of the objections. Noise and disturbance resulting from the use.
Freshens outside to 1:15 on Saturday, so Sunday morning, outside, that does seem a bit OTT. Some of the people living there, it could cause them nuisance. And there's something else I saw in it which seemed a bit odd. They recorded music outside until 10:30 at night. Recording music outside, how loud would that be?
Well, the
Yeah.
Live Music Act, if you've got a premises licence, you automatically have the right to display music, but not for those hours, it's like 8 until 11. To be honest, I've looked into this, and it's not a professional application that you put in. We've currently got a traditional beach cafe, and they're proposing to turn it into something quite different, which is a late night public house, which requires a material change of use.
Yes.
And also they need to have a plan which shows the limit of where the licence extends. And I would really want to call this in, I really want to call this in with TDC. And I'd like our objections to be based on, as well as our concerns. I think we should put our concerns forward, but our material objections are the noise and disturbance resulting from the use, the inadequate road access, the fact that the highway safety is of concern due to the narrow access roads, the lack of parking, loading and turning space. Because if you think they're going to have taxis, deliveries, and also, although you can't say anything about the output of the view, the visual amenity, the effect on the outlook for those living in the residential area, that counts.
Yeah, I don't think you can, because the representation must be under the relevant and likely effective granting application on the promotion of one or more of the licensing objectives. So I don't think that would come under the prevention requirements, public safety prevention act. I don't think it would come under that criteria. Also, with the licensing, it's different to planning applications. So when we say about calling it in, it actually goes to a licensing committee.
Of course it does.
Yeah, so it's different to planning
Okay,
applications.
because this is planning.
Yeah.
So how do we go about this?
So we can actually address any representations on behalf of the Town Council to TDC by the 21st of February.
Yeah.
So anything that we feel, is going to impact on any of these 4 licensing objectives, we can actually raise concerns and put that in writing to District
Okay.
Council.
Well, public safety, in
That's-
terms of the narrow access roads and the inadequacy of parking, loading and turning. And the noise and disturbance resulting from use.
One thing was on that, I did say this, last time I spoke about it, was the use of Nottingham Castle pub when it was a pub 100 yards away, and that did have music till, and now people and violence till the morning often, so it's not new for the area, it's just that we've had it for 10 or 15 years.
But it's not there now, is it?
It's not there now, but it was.
And this is, I think, this is a beach cafe, and it does require a change of use. It does, the application is, is inadequate in that it requires a change of use because there is a material shift, and also it needs a plan, a proper plan, showing the demarcation line. And there is a safety issue. If alcohol is bought off licence and taken onto the beach, that's a risk. So, do we have to present this? Do we have to speak?
No, it's written representation to the District Council, which I can draft a letter if you're all happy to check with Councillor Cornford before it's sent. So we've got time, got to the 21st of February.
So I have got some alternatives for times, and we can make some suggestions of something that's better, because it is a residential area as well. And I think as a town council, we have a duty to protect residents. And they have, like, it's up with us.
Well, sorry, I personally haven't had it.
No, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, in practice, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is everybody, Councillor Page, sorry.
Just a footnote really, would it be worth considering whether it could set a precedent for Millie's Beach Bar in terms of opening times and activities? Because it will, if this goes through as it is, will set a precedent for them as a competitor immediately next door. They
Do
could
you know what their current licensing allowances
don't
are?
at the moment, but they don't open as frequently as
No.
this.
But they are licensed and
But they could think, as this is competition,
No, absolutely.
business competition, that they would have to match it. So is that worth consideration? I don't know whether it's relevant at this stage.
I don't think it would be deemed as being relevant. They're very clear in the licensing application. Any, considerations or any concerns have to address these objectives. It's quite strict. So I think we can't really deviate from anything that we do raise must be linked to one of these licensing objectives, and we need to clearly demonstrate the link. I know it's very tempting to give people's personal opinions, but I think we're not in that situation here where we can, we've got to strictly stick to the licensing objectives.
It's quite
But
rigorous.
well, maybe
it's
we-
rigorous, yeah.
Sorry. Maybe we should just stick to the fact that it's a change of use. There needs to be a change of use. Because it is going from a beach bar to a late night public.
Yeah, I think if, you've raised some relevant things here that do link to the licensing objectives. I think we could put that as, in addition, we've got concerns that the use should be, looked at, because it is a, substantial, considered to be a substantial deviation from what is there currently. But I think we just need to, actually address these licensing objectives, because otherwise we're in danger.
No, no,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Thank you. Yes.
So we are in agreement that I'll draft a letter, look at perhaps confident on that, and then that will be submitted to the District Council licensing team. Yeah.
Would one of you like to propose that? Thank you. Second, Councillor Page. All in favour? Thank you. Right, item number 7 is the draft housing strategy consultation. Councillors, do you have any comments to make here? Personally, I found this a very unclear document, and it's not very, it seems vague, muddled. I mean, at the start, they're talking about their objectives and saying that they're going to have a possibility, they will be having their own housing company, which they then say further on in the document that they're looking into the possibility of having their own housing company. It's feasible to explore if it's feasible to set up its own housing company. Once again, it's using the incorrect objectively assessed housing needs based on population projections, and it's also using private developers rather than affordable schemes. And the OHC objectively assessed housing needs are clearly suggesting that homelessness is going to be alleviated by building, which clearly it's not. My concern that came out of here is that there's a large proportion of properties in the area that are rented out through the private sector, and there is no engagement, very little engagement between the council and the private sector. And that's fact. And that seems a huge gap in communication, because throughout this document they mention poor maintenance and inflated rents by the private sector, which is not always the case. There is a minority of very poor landlords who the council are doing something about, but overall I would say that we should encourage better engagement with the private sector. Councillor Page.
One thing that struck me throughout this was the number of types of housing that are being referred to within the document, and the only reference to housing provision for those on a low income is referring to social housing. I personally feel that the council should definitely work towards council property provision managed by the council, or what they refer to as a council company. It's something that historically was in place, but has gradually eroded over the years through the Right to Buy scheme. And I think there should be a reversal back to that, because there isn't enough affordable housing, which is different to social housing, as referenced in modern culture. I also think that amongst their partners, they should definitely be working with people like the Thanet Community Land Trust, who are relatively new on the scene, but I believe have something definite to offer. And they should be working with people like this in partnership, and simplify some of the things that they're working with. It all seems far too complicated.
Yes. How are we going to translate all that into answering this document? Do you have anything to add, Councillor Lyon?
No, I just don't.
That's fine. Well, for purposes of the meeting, I suppose as a town council, we need to do what they've asked, and we need to put our comments concisely at the bottom, which reflects what we've said tonight.
I don't disagree with that, because that is part of the process being presented to us. Yeah, I agree, because that's the process and part of the consultation. But I think as a town council, we should have a covering letter with it. It doesn't need to be over-worded.
No.
But it should be covering the points a little bit more clearly than just filling in a couple of lines at the bottom of the page.
I think that's a good idea. Okay. Councillor Page, I see you've actually filled in yours.
Well, no, it's just my thoughts. It's not actually filling in an answer. I mean, this particular page is just repeating what I just said to you verbally about Thanet Community Land Trust and reverting to proper council properties run by the council.
Right, so do we, I mean, Are we going to strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree? I feel that we should disagree with what they've said.
This is priority one, yeah.
To what extent do you agree with priority one, our proposed approach to improving access to and increasing the supply of housing? I mean, personally, I strongly disagree, but that's not this is about the town council's response.
Mm.
Do we disagree or do we agree?
I would go on and disagree.
Councillor Page? Disagree. Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Priority two, improving housing standards and safety across all tenures. To what extent do you agree with priority two, our proposed approach to improving housing standards and safety across all tenures? Strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree.
Well, I agree that they need to be addressing it,
Yeah.
and they need to put procedures in place, particularly if you're dealing with landlords and empty properties. They should have more powers in place to address those issues firmly. You know, the wording they use in the document is a bit wishy-washy. They need to be more firm about their decision to actually move these things on and deal with them.
Yes, more effective.
More effective, more positive.
So that's more effective monitoring.
Yes, and enforcement. Because if they carry on taking the middle line, those things are not going to be addressed in the future.
No, they're not. Priority three, supporting the health and well-being of our residents and communities. To what extent do we agree with their approach in the document? Personally, I feel their approach is very limited, so I would disagree.
Well,
They need to rejig their approach completely.
they use the right wording in terms of, for example, effective partnerships and stakeholders. So KCC plus health and social care partners. Well, they've already got those. They need to be more proactive within the document about how they're actually going to make that work. Because those things exist now and they're not being effective, but they're not telling us in the document how that's going to happen and how they're going to make it work.
So we could say that we disagree and the strategy repeats the existing status, the existing and offers no real solutions, offers no real practical solutions
I don't think so.
or vision.
Not from this document, anyway. It's an overview.
Or vision. Although we do recognise it is a vast area,
It's complicated.
but from my personal experience, I know two people who have sought assistance. One couple in their 60s, one younger couple with a child. And on both occasions they've struggled to get anywhere. There has been nobody. And in fact with the older couple, they were advised by a close relative who is in the forces to actually put the individual outside on the pavement and call the police. We are living in the 21st century, and also on several occasions there's been very few people to ring, and when they have rung, there's been nobody there, there's been no help, there's been absolutely nothing. And yet we have this big wordy document. So how can we put that into strategy, repeats existing status and offers no real practical solutions or vision? think obviously we need to recognise the enormity of the task. However, the theory is just not cracking the nut, is it?
No.
Right, theory is not making the changes. Right, priority 4, preventing homelessness and tackling wealth keeping. To what extent do we agree with what the strategy says, the document says? Again, would you say that overall we disagree because of the way they've approached it? I mean, 17,000 houses are not going to alleviate a problem with homelessness when, for example, 40% of police time is taken up with mental health based issues. Councillor Page.
Tell me if I've got this wrong, but nowhere in this document they've given us lots of statistics supporting what they're saying, but nowhere have they presented us with some kind of plan or proposal as to how they prioritise helping these people.
No, that needs to go in our covering letter, doesn't it? Because I thought this is all about presenting the problem and not offering any doable
solution,
no viable solutions.
or even a plan to have them. You know, there has to be some kind of pathway forward and to help these people. I mean, you've got two sectors here where they're not saying how they prioritise the worst cases or how they know who they are.
No.
Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
do. I found this really troubling in that there's just so many aspects to it, and this really doesn't allow for anything really, any real comment.
It's an overview that says they're looking at it, they're addressing it, but to some extent that's because the government is requiring them to do a certain amount of this.
But they're not really tackling.
But they're not providing the solutions, or what they see as solutions. I'm not suggesting that they should have all the answers. That's never going to be possible. But if you're going to be addressing these issues, there needs to be a way of measuring, other than having the statistics that you believe are correct, and I don't think they are. I don't really think everything comes to the surface. You do need to have a plan of action so that you're prioritising need. And how do you get to that? How do you find out who needs the help? And how urgently do they need it? And then what's your proposal, what's your strategy for helping those people within a time frame to get them out of their situation, to give them the best possible help?
But they're going to say they don't have the resources for that. But in here, they're talking about the funding they're getting for building homes. So that's a sticking plaster. It's like a sticking plaster. It's like an easy option to build the homes, and they've got something to go to. Because they tell us they don't have any money, and then they tell us they do have funding for housing, to build houses.
But then you can argue how do they prioritise what they build.
Yes,
Because if you're presented with somebody who's homeless, they say they're going to have a holistic and personal approach, and I quote that from the document. That tells me that they are going to assess that individual on their psychological need, their well-being, what kind of property they need to live in so that they can be safe, keep themselves well. So how are they going to prioritise the kind of home that they put that person into? You need to have a knowledge of the people you're helping so that you can place them correctly if you're going to do it holistically.
And I'm really sorry, this is against the code and all that, and I need to turn it off. So I do beg your pardon.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that, I mean, have you all read page 39 where it says trends in homelessness approaches, where they're talking about the funding and the intervention, that you know, they've got a dedicated rough sleeping coordinator, 3 additional rough sleeper outreach workers, a specialist mental health nurse, and a specialist drug and alcohol worker. So this is all part of the rough sleeping initiative funding. So there's some information there about how they're going to tackle things. So I think,
Yes.
yeah, some of it's there.
Yes,
Yeah.
some of it, and they've had, like you said, they've had funding for this,
Mm.
and it's getting started.
Mm.
But actually, in practice, it's not there. When you've got somebody who's in a psychotic state, out of working hours, there's nobody to contact. There really isn't. It's not an holistic approach at all, considering the huge numbers of people who are suffering. And to give the impression that building houses is going to solve that is incorrect, because it's not. What we suggest in place of that.
Well, then you go back to the argument about why are certain people not in places where they can be cared for properly, as they used to be.
Care in the community council page. That's when it all.
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
That's when it went pear
And
shaped.
that's something else we need to revert, because certain people do need assistance.
Like you said, Summerlands, former Summerlands. That's a huge building, which in the condition it's in because the owner took out all the old flash windows and then couldn't afford £2,000 a window to replace them, because they weren't allowed to put in plastic windows because it's great, it's a listed building, so it sits there in the condition it's in. Now that could be converted into an ideal I'm trying to think of a politically correct word. Building.
But yes, rather than saying that you can build so many houses and then these people can be put into, it's far more complicated than just giving somebody, say, a room with a bathroom. They need more help than just a roof over their head.
I mean,
if they're going to have a holistic approach.
And many can't cope with a roof over their own roof over their head. They need assistance. You know, as in a community environment, which is not mentioned in here.
No.
I mean, there are lots of old buildings. There's that lovely old building in Ramsgate. But there's VAT on refurbishment. If they lifted VAT on refurbishment, even if the conditions on it, certain types of work, a lot of the empty properties would come back into use. Because there's no VAT on new builds, it's far more profitable.
I think some of the points we've made should be included in the covering letter. I mean, if they wanted further conversations or further information, it could be expanded further if they want that feedback. But I think we should put these points in a covering letter.
I mean, it's quite upsetting and it's really important. And I think as a town council, we need to flag that. We need to say something. We need to make a stand on it. We need to say something. Whether or not it's taken any notice of, we've done our best. I shouldn't be asking this, but when is the consultation due?
This actually runs until the...
We can find out. That's all right, Julie.
I think it's next week.
It's quite soon.
It is quite soon, yes. So what I was going to propose, if everyone's in agreement, is that we work together on the letter and get that off, because it does actually state at the end, if you've got any further comments, which we could just simply attach the letter as the further comments.
Yes. Would you be prepared to email in
My
bullet
suggestion.
points?
Yeah. To you, or to Jill. To Jill. To Jill.
Thanks. Thank you. But let's still stand with what, and one last one on the back page. Oh no, that's the letter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jill.
Okay.
Right, we need to make a decision. So would either of you like to propose that that's what we're going to do? Send this off as agreed tonight, but with the covering letter.
Yes, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
You said it,
Yeah.
all in favour. Thank you. Right, number 8, Parish Highways Improvement Plan.
Yeah, this council has to ask this to be on the agenda. Obviously, I've been here 2 years now. There have been numerous residents come to me with issues with the road. It could be that they want a one-way system. It could be that they want pedestrianised. It might be that they want another crossing. There are numerous locations in, speeding vehicles that people are thinking, street farming, So I have got a list put together that I've kept. Obviously, this gives you the procedural notes and the specific highway improvement plans, action plans that Kent County Council have said. Any work that we want proposed in the town, we have to go through this process. Because Kent County Council's budgets are shrinking, they go on priorities and literally they have a crash map. If somebody goes to them and says, there's an issue with this road, I want, yellow lines, or the first thing they do is look at this crash map. If there are not any incidents recorded, that won't be on the priority list. So unfortunately, we're in that situation where the higher up a crash map list and location is, the more likely you are to get funding. So that's why they've come up with this idea. So what they're saying to residents now who approach them directly, you need to speak to your district council, you need to speak to your town or parish council. So people are looking to us because we are going to be looked upon to fund some of these things. Now you are talking a lot of money for even the most, what we would call a simple, for instance, the Adrian Square was looked into for a one-way system. We had a meeting with the KCC engineers and they said, first of all, you have to have a traffic survey done, which costs £1,000. And then they said, just to do the lining, the parking, chevrons, because you have to change the parking, you're talking between £25,000 and £30,000 was there, just a rough estimate. So we are talking vast sums of money for even one scheme. So I think it's something that we should maybe come up with a list, an initial list. And when I spoke to KCC, when I went to the parish forum, they suggested, you come up with 6 that you class, the town council class as priority on your list. Then you consult with the residents, because what you're going to have to do is say to the residents, next year in our budget, we are prepared to fund one of these schemes. Would you be in agreement? Do you think that's a wise spend of your money? Because, if it is just one road and, everyone thinks that where they live is top priority, but they're going to be spending a vast sum of money for a few people. And I think that's, it's tough decisions, and the Kent County Council are suffering the same problem. It's a tough decision, and people always assume that their road or their problem is the biggest issue. So I think that's the way forward. We've got to come up with a list initially and then go to consultation, because that's a part of the forward plan, basically. That's part of the agreement there. But I just thought, for your interest and to see what is expected, it's useful to actually see the format and everything that's expected.
Yes, no, absolutely.
And so there is work to be done,
Yeah.
because, and it's not just putting down the road and, not having any sort of plan in mind. So it's quite involved. So, yeah, that's what I just wanted to explain that. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jill, that makes it really clear. Councillor Page.
On that basis, I've got a few that cropped up while I was reading this. If I could email those through as suggestions to go onto the list.
Again, I've got a couple of ideas I've documented in our university.
Yeah. Sorry, had you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Would it be an idea to assist with Liz in prioritising areas that the maximum number of people benefit from? For instance, I'm thinking of Elm Grove, which houses St Sophie's School, and something that came to my attention the other week. Somebody parked outside someone's house with a drop curb, and the owner came back and wanted to get in, and he was told, oh well, it's school collection, it's school collection, the chap got. But the point that came out of the conversation with this individual was that actually that's a pull-in area with a drop curb. Therefore, those dog bones would be useful, because without the pull-in area, you could reach gridlock, and I've sat at the top of Elm Grove. Anyway, my point is that perhaps we could, sift through and have priority areas where the maximum number of people benefit. Councillor Warner.
Yeah, just on that, on parking law and things, you're allowed to block the drop curb and driveway with no car in it. You're legally allowed to.
You are allowed to?
Yes.
Okay.
You can block the driveway with
All
no
right.
if there's no car. If there's a car there, you can't. If there's a garage there, you don't know if there's a car in there. It's debatable, but you can block them.
Okay,
By
thank
law.
you.
I'm sure about that, because something I looked at recently said you can't even, it's illegal to even block your own. But anyway.
No, if there's no car there, you can block it.
Can we also on this list look at the priority on safety? I've got one particular thing in mind. It is a high safety issue, so it might be worth giving, like doing a pro and con list.
Yeah.
We could have numbers of people affected, safety, because, the thing I'm thinking about, I don't want to sound enigmatic about this, is the railway bridge and the way people keep crossing that. I've seen some near accidents, even with elderly on sticks and chairs and things, and I think we should have some barriers up there to stop people crossing, only for their own safety. But it's that kind of thing,
Okay, thank you. You don't need to make any decisions. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the document I'm going to email you on one of them does address that.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite worrying watching people sometimes.
And of course you also have the problem that buses turning up there go wide. I don't know, there must have been at least one crash, but some Hooray Henry comes over the hill doing 50, and a bus is turning, isn't there, quite straight into it. It's going to happen if it doesn't. Can't get it.
That is a classic. There haven't been any fatalities.
I had to get in the road and stop the traffic once, because there was an elderly gentleman who could hardly walk, really shuffled, and I had to stop the traffic. Make sure he could get to the other side. It's hard, but it's not fun.
No.
Item number 10.
Let's sorry about this one. So if people can email me their suggestions, I'll compile a list and I'll bring that to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. decisions from Thanet District Council. I'm not going to go through the ones that have been granted. We'll go straight on to number 11, the ones up for consultation. First one, 1633, 12A Victoria Avenue, Westgate. Formation of vehicular access with hard standing drop curb. Actually, we talked about drop curb just now. Can I quickly say that on the application, it says about changes, and it says it actually provides additional curbside parking, which I didn't really understand.
No, I don't know.
Because they've already got an exit, and it's obviously a sweep round one. And my thoughts at the time were, with 2 drop curbs, that's going to actually take out a parking space. But on the application, it says it's going to increase curbside parking.
I know the house in question. Not personally, I know the house because I live in the road. What they've done recently is the house was previously behind high walls with a gate that they would drive in through. What they've done is taken the walls down to have a low level wall so that you can actually now see the property. And where the gate was, that piece of the drive was already onto a drop curve where the cars used to go in anyway. What they've done with the low level walls is create another. So instead of just having their car going up to one side of the house, they can actually come through and out either side. But I agree with you, I don't see how it's going to create parking, except that parking at that end of the road is not an issue.
That's what I was wondering about, yeah. No comment?
I don't think so, not really.
No comment. It's just... And 1701, flat 2, 74 St Mildred's Road, removal of chimney and remedial work to existing dormer roof. Anybody got any comments?
No, not immediately, unless anybody knows anything.
No, I looked at the plans and it's exactly the same as well, the chimney's not there.
Yeah.
So, no comments on that one. Right, next one. 1105, 58 St Mildred's Road. The erection of third floor extension and 3-storey rear extension incorporating first, second and third floor rear balconies and third floor front balcony to facilitate change of use of upper floors from 1 4-bedroom maisonette to 2 1-bedroom flats, 1 2-bedroom flat and 1 2-bedroom maisonette, together with the erection of a 2-storey 1-bedroom dwelling to the rear, which is a total of 10 people, absolute maximum, whereas before absolute maximum would have been 8 people.
Yeah, we looked at this one before, haven't we? Yeah. Also.
I sent in an email to Jill on this one, which you probably saw. My concern is that the Environmental Health has sent a letter saying that they were called to look at the possibility of noise transference, and they've had the developer or the architect look at this to make changes to address this issue. And the inference in the Environmental Health letter was that if those issues are addressed, this can go through at TDC, which I know in the email I said, is this a foregone conclusion? Because Environmental Health have not addressed the issues that have been raised as objections by residents about refuse build-up and refuse collection, because they've got existing problems, which I think will only increase with all these extra households. But those matters have not been addressed by Environmental Health. Neither have the objections around privacy and light, which previously would have been important issues in applications in relation to existing residents. Those have not been addressed. I feel it's an overdevelopment on a site that's already very space restricted. And I questioned whether Thanet District Council's appropriate department should be looking at this issue regarding household waste and what their plans are.
What advice?
But nothing's been asked of them, nothing's been prepared for us to look at or anybody else. So I just wonder whether they've been brought into the discussion.
Well, we know in the town that these above retail premises flats are devoid of adequate refuse disposal areas because they use the main town bins, and it's been an issue with the town council since 2015. So that is something for us to comment on. But also it is overdevelopment, and it is in a conservation area also, which, you know, the whole purpose of a conservation area is to maintain the character and the heritage. And this is the roots of Westgate here. The town, it was built with the railway line, and it's an Edwardian, and it attracts tourists. It's gone through the process of being put into a conservation area, and there are quite stringent measures for that. And the plan that they put forward, the top, the facing the high street, the modern windows reflect the modern 70s shop facade. And also, on the property southwards of it, there is a window at the side, which I do have a photograph of, because I noticed it on the application. And then I took a picture, I spotted it from the office window. So I don't know how they're going to get over that, because there are several objections. One of them is that he's unable to open the window. There's a problem with the sewers. Now I want my phone to work. CAG have put in an objection. Yes, a conservation area is designated because of its special architectural and historic interest. In the case of number 58, both these apply. It is a fine example of early Edwardian retail, shop and residential architecture, and historically is part of the fundamental roots of Westgate-on-Sea and a contribution to our tourist industry. And it's also, as a terrace property, it's flanked by other unique architectural designs. I would say that we should call it in. Now, this isn't a very clear picture, and in taking it I found that we've got a crack in our lead window. But that's, the red brick is the top of the shop, and that's the window on the roof.
I would agree that we should call it in.
Yeah. I would as well.
It should be considered in more detail.
Yeah.
Yes, every agrees that.
It's just an aside really, but is it because it's in St Mildred's Walk and they think that it can't be seen from the road that it doesn't matter?
But it can be seen from the road.
I mean, I'm talking about the whole of the development.
The back of it. Possibly. I mean, the front, if you look at the front, the top, like I've said, that's exactly like, you know, similar to the bottom, and that's a balcony which is entirely different to anything else. It's not part of the character of the surrounding buildings.
No. But I think a precedent was set last year when the roof of the Chinese restaurant was changed. Because we objected to that on the same basis, but it was approved and went through.
We didn't call it in. See, that's how it is now. That's a very bad picture. But anyway, it is completely, what have we put so far, John?
We have put, you believe it's contributing the conservation area, not in keeping and maintaining the character and heritage. The issue with the window that is
Yes.
overlooking, yeah. Also, several objections, although that's not a material consideration. Sewer problems, that would be another one.
What overloading on it?
Overdevelopment, that's another
Yes.
one. And you put about the disposal of waste.
Yeah, mental refuse.
Refuse collection, which I was trying to see if there's a material consideration, I believe it is. Yeah, okay. So that's what I've got so far.
Oh, we've got overlooking and loss of privacy.
Yes.
Affecting the light of neighbours, residents.
Overshadowing, yes, loss of light, overshadowing. As in, total obscuring of that window that will no longer open in the neighbouring property to the, north facing window of the neighbouring property. Yep, it's the design appearance and design and the appearance and the materials, because those buildings don't have a lot of glass in them, and there's going to be a huge expanse of glass at the top, on that top balcony which overlooks the high street. The layout and density. And the effect on listed buildings in the conservation area.
Yes. That's what
We've got it right.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, Jill.
Okay. So, taking those concerns, and you want to request a call in as well? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if
Please.
you'd like to propose that, thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Warren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we all vote for it.
And all in favour?
Thank you.
Right, moving on, 0150, Paul's Bar, 42 Station Road, Westgate-on-Sea, retrospective application for the erection of a single-storey mono-pitched external shelter. No comment, I would say.
I don't have any objections.
No comment.
I think he's already been using one there already, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And finally, 0087, Springfield Nursing Home, Hengist Road, Westgate-on-Sea, part demolition of existing care home and change of use to one 5-bedroom detached dwelling, C3, with associated parking.
This is a retrospective application and work has already started on this. Started in October. So I suppose the current question is, are they still working on it? How far have they gone? Is this not also the premises that developers wanted to turn into luxury apartments that we turned down twice?
I can't say for definite.
There are trees and bushes involved, but we've had no tree survey. Basically, the structure of the building in terms of its character and style on the plans are not going to change. It's internal work to turn the property into a 5-bedroom property as opposed to the care home that it has been up to now. Car parking spaces are going to remain at 3 because that's what's there and that's what they plan to have going forward. I mean, if that's what they're doing, I can't see any real objections other than we need to check what's happening in relation to trees and have some more detail about how far they've got with work and whether it's actually been stopped while they're waiting for this application.
Did it say this on the application? What did it say about the trees?
There was no information about what specifically they would be, where they're located. We didn't have, other than pictures of the structure of the building existing and proposed, we didn't have any other drawings or pictures other than the internal reconstruction. It was a reference to drawings, and I haven't been able to get the drawing.
Right, so then,
There was a reference for the trees to drawing AGI-A-294-05, but I'm not able to get that or find it.
it doesn't seem as if it's one that we should call in exactly, but can we draw attention to the question of the trees there?
Yeah.
As we, you know, as it's
Yeah.
spoken about all the time, that it's short of trees. So that would be our comment, and that if you have concern for the vegetation in the area, can this be looked at? You okay with that? Right, thank you. Next meeting is the 10th of March, thank you, Jill. Okay.